Welcome to the Mind Spark, bringing you the latest news from around the world. A chill has fallen over North America, not from winter but from a political freeze. The air feels heavier as if the continent itself is holding its breath, waiting for what comes next. On July 7, 2025, in a move that stunned both nations, Canada abruptly closed the Alaska Highway to all U.S. traffic, catching travelers and officials off guard. This vital artery, once a symbol of unity and cooperation, is now a stark line of division, separating neighbors and friends. The decision sent shockwaves from Washington to Alaska, threatening decades of friendship and shared history between the two countries. The closure severs the only land route connecting Alaska to the rest of the U.S., leaving the state isolated and vulnerable. For Alaskans, the highway is more than just a road. It's a lifeline for food, medicine, fuel, and all essential goods that keep daily life running. Now that lifeline is cut, leaving communities scrambling to adapt to a new and uncertain reality. Why? The answer lies in escalating tensions. Trade disputes, Arctic sovereignty, and environmental disagreements have all contributed to this dramatic standoff. Ottawa cited national security and environmental protection, enacting the closure without warning and sparking outrage on both sides of the border. Trucks are stranded, travelers bewildered, and Alaska is effectively an island cut off from the mainland by a single political decision. The world is watching as two close allies face off in a crisis with global implications, wondering how far the rift will go. The Northern blockade is a stark reminder. Even the strongest alliances can be fragile and trust can be shattered overnight. The closure has created a logistical nightmare, ignited a political firestorm, and left businesses and families in limbo. Former President Trump called it a betrayal. The Biden administration scrambles for a solution, facing mounting pressure from all sides. Alaskans now face a new reality, cut off from their country by land, their sense of security shaken. This is more than politics. It's about real people whose lives have been upended, families separated, and futures thrown into doubt. The immediate future is uncertain, and the stakes are high. Every hour brings new developments and new anxieties. The stability of North America is at risk, as leaders and citizens alike grapple with the consequences of this unprecedented move. The world wonders, can this rift be healed, or is a new iron curtain descending across the continent, dividing old friends? The crisis is a test of leadership, diplomacy, and the resilience of a historic partnership that has weathered many storms before. The next moves will shape the continent's future, determining whether unity or division will define the years ahead. The story of the Alaska Highway has entered its most dramatic chapter yet, a chapter that will be remembered for generations to come. To truly grasp today's crisis, we must look back to the very origins of the Alaska Highway, a story shaped by urgency and resilience. The Alaska Highway was born in the crucible of World War II, built in 1942 as a vital lifeline against the looming threat of Japanese invasion in North America's northwest. U.S. and Canadian forces braved brutal terrain, relentless weather, and isolation to carve a 500-mile road through untamed wilderness in just 8 months, a feat many thought impossible. It was not just a feat of engineering but a powerful symbol of wartime cooperation and shared determination between two nations. After the war, the highway opened to civilians, transforming into a vital conduit for commerce, tourism, and cultural exchange, linking remote communities and fostering new opportunities. For over 80 years, it stood as a monument to partnership, open borders, and the enduring spirit of collaboration. The road connected families, economies, and destinies, weaving together the lives of people on both sides of the border. Its closure now feels like the slamming of a door on that shared history, leaving communities isolated and uncertain. The highway is more than just pavement, it's a living promise of unity, progress, and hope for the future. That promise, once so strong, is now in jeopardy, threatened by forces beyond the control of those who depend on it. The story of the Alaska Highway is one of overcoming adversity together, of building bridges, literal and figurative, across vast distances. Its closure is a profound rupture in that legacy, a stark reminder of how fragile even the strongest connections can be. The stakes are not just logistical, but deeply symbolic, touching on identity, trust, and the future of cross-border relations. The world now watches and wonders if the spirit that built the highway, of unity and shared purpose, can survive this unprecedented test. The answer will define not just the fate of a road, but the future of North American cooperation for generations to come. For Alaska's 730,000 residents, the highway is far more than just a stretch of pavement. It's essential to daily life and survival in the state's vast, rugged landscape. It's the main artery for food, medicine, and goods, ensuring that even the most remote communities have access to what they need. Without it, Alaska must rely on costly sea and air freight, threatening food security and affordability for families and businesses alike. Every sector, construction, healthcare, oil, retail, depends on this land link to keep operations running and shelves stocked. The closure devastates tourism, erasing a season's revenue for small communities that rely on visitors to survive. The highway is also critical for U.S. military logistics in the Arctic, supporting national defense and rapid response. Air transport can't replace the heavy lift capacity of a ground route, especially for oversized or bulk shipments. The closure raises serious questions about military readiness and national security, putting strategic operations at risk. Beyond economics and defense, the highway is deeply personal for Alaskans, shaping their sense of freedom and connection. It's the road home, connecting Alaskans to family, friends, and the rest of the country, bridging vast distances. Closing it deepens isolation, severs personal ties, and leaves many feeling stranded and anxious about the future. Alaska feels more distant than ever, an outpost, not an integral part of the U.S., its communities left vulnerable and alone. The psychological impact is profound, as uncertainty and worry ripple through every town and family. The closure isn't just about goods, it's about belonging, identity, and the right to feel connected to the nation. The sense of connection is fraying, and the bonds that tie Alaska to the rest of America are being tested. The consequences reach far beyond the border, affecting not just Alaska, but the entire nation and its neighbors. Canada's decision came swiftly and without warning. On July 7th, an emergency order closed the highway to U.S. vehicles, citing environmental and security concerns. Border agents turned away trucks and travelers at key checkpoints. Prime Minister Trudeau defended the move, citing permafrost damage and the need to assert sovereignty. The closure will remain until the U.S. agrees to a new Northern Corridor Treaty, joint oversight, U.S. funding, and stricter controls. The timing follows escalating trade disputes and Arctic tensions. Many in Washington see the closure as retaliation, a bargaining chip in broader negotiations. The White House reacted with confusion and anger, calling the move unilateral and counterproductive. Diplomatic channels are in overdrive as the U.S. scrambles to restore the vital link. The crisis has blindsided both governments. The stakes are high and the path forward is unclear. The closure is more than a policy, it's a power play. The world waits for the next move. Former President Trump wasted no time blasting Canada and the Biden administration. He called the closure a betrayal and demanded harsh retaliation. Tariffs on Canadian goods, immediate action. His rhetoric electrified his base and turned the crisis into a partisan flashpoint. Republicans echoed his calls, accusing the administration of weakness. The crisis is now a political battleground, complicating diplomacy. Trump's America First message resonates with many, framing the closure as an insult. The war of words risks escalating into a damaging trade conflict. The administration faces pressure at home and abroad. The crisis is no longer just international, it's domestic, and the stakes are rising. The economic fallout was immediate. Trucking companies halted operations, goods piled up in warehouses. Alaska's stores imposed limits, prices soared, and families felt the pinch. Small businesses lost supplies and tourist revenue overnight. The construction sector faces critical shortages, infrastructure projects are at risk, even the oil and gas industry feels the strain. The crisis exposes the vulnerability of relying on a single supply route. The world is watching, reevaluating their own dependencies. If the US and Canada can be disrupted so easily, what about everyone else? The closure is a cautionary tale for global supply chains. The economic shockwaves are just beginning. The human cost is mounting. Students, military families, and workers are stranded or forced into expensive last-minute flights. Family visits, road trips, and emergency travel are canceled. Seasonal workers and retirees are trapped on one side of the border. The closure disrupts lives, economies, and communities. Alaskans feel like pawns in a distant political game. Rallies erupt, demanding action. The focus isn't on policy, it's on the price of milk, the ability to see family, and the fear of isolation. The social fabric is fraying. The toll is measured in canceled plans and growing anxiety. This crisis is a geopolitical chess match. Canada is leveraging its geography to force U.S. concessions on trade and Arctic policy. It's a high-risk move, asserting sovereignty and demanding a new treaty. Military analysts warn the closure weakens North American defense, a gift to rivals like Russia and China. The rift signals disunity in NATO and NORAD. Economically, it's brinkmanship. Canada wants U.S. funding and stricter protocols. The closure hurts Canadian businesses too, but Ottawa believes crisis is the only way to force negotiation. The U.S. must choose retaliate and risk a trade war, or negotiate and restore the link. The world is watching for the next move. The outcome will set a precedent for international disputes. The stakes are strategic, economic, and symbolic. The crisis is a test of leadership on both sides. The future of North American cooperation hangs in the balance. The next move could reshape the continent. The Alaska Highway crisis has brought two allies to the brink. Escalation is tempting, but a trade war would harm both nations. The only way forward is diplomacy. Leaders must de-escalate and reopen the highway, perhaps through an interim agreement with joint oversight. This would relieve Alaskans and create space for broader talks. The crisis is a wake-up call. The highway needs a modern framework for management. Canada's environmental and cost concerns are real. America's need for access is non-negotiable. A new Northern Corridor Treaty could turn conflict into cooperation. The US-Canada partnership is too important to be derailed. Now is the time to reaffirm that bond. The Alaska Highway was built as a bridge in war. It must not become a barrier in peace. Reopening the road and working together is the only path forward. The legacy of unity must endure.